Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man DB. What's going on? Like, subscribe, share if you want to get more content. What's going on? I'm at a different location right now. I was trying to figure out whether I was going to do the icon, but I like to see my people. What's going on, people? I like the icon. It's cool. I mean, got the young logo on there and everything. But I just like to talk to them. I like to see people, right? On the playback. Good to see everybody. Good to hear from everybody. Subscribe, like, share. Guess what? We almost have 500. And like I said before, some people got thousands of subscribers, and maybe one day we'll get there. But until then, I want to say thank you to those 400 and something, almost 500 subscribers. I like to say thank you. You know what I mean? To joining me on this journey, because there's so many different channels and so many different things going on, so much vital information out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Rob, man. You know what I'm saying? Elder Rob Sanders, man. We got a chance to chop it up. Shout out to sister Shonda at large. Shout out to my wife Donna Brazil. Shout out to Elder Blakely and his wife Angela Blakely. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Ron Shields and Divine Prospect, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, Teo, Dante, who else I'm forgetting? Sister E, you know what I mean? Shout out to Pastor Dr. U. Dennis over across the pond in the UK. Shout out to Dr. Kelly, We Woke Now Ministries, Moray Brown. I can go on and on and on. Shout out to, everybody I know, and, and if I forgot your name, shout out to Mr. Black Tastic. I can't forget my brother. That's my brother right there. Shout out to Second Exodus. Shout out to Big Red. Shout out to, man, I can go on and on and on. Shout out to Ariel Spike. Huh? You backstage? Oh, my wife said she backstage. Hold on. It don't show that you backstage. All right. Shout out to my wife who's trying to get on. I don't know. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody doing well. Sister E had a show a couple of weeks ago. She was talking about them, right? She was talking about them. Not them as in them, but them, right? The series Them. So my sister had her birthday. Shout out to my sister Ebony Lamont. She had a birthday not too long ago. And I don't know why these I better keep my anyway, she had a birthday not too long ago, and I was over there just watching it. And they 40 minutes, right? So I had to keep watching them because I'm like, we have to get something out of them. We have to get something out of watching these things, right? Shout out to Sister Lynn. Shout out to Ruhama. What a blessing. Ruhama is a soldier. Shout out, she's a real sister. We appreciate her. But I kept watching them, and I didn't binge watch the whole thing because it's 10 episodes times 40. You do the math on that. But within the couple of days, I got a chance to watch it, and boy, man, it was heavy. Them, I guess it's playing on the movie Us, but it's the series on Amazon Prime called Them. Man, it is heavy. What you think? Give me a comment what you think about it. But I'm gonna tell you like this. For me, I can't do it. It was very, very terrible. But then I read some articles how Hollywood thrives off Black trauma. Right? Now, at first I was thinking when these movies come out that, yeah, they showing what we going through. Yeah. They're talking about what we're going through. Yeah, get it on the silver screen or get it on the TV screen, and they're gonna talk about it, and we can get some resolve. And I'm coming to find out that it's more exploitive, in my opinion. It's more exploitive than trying to help us out. So I'm gonna read some articles on this paper. This Black trauma as entertainment. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I forgot which paper I got this from, but I'm gonna put it in the link. Last week, this article said, last week I came across a trailer for a film entitled Equal Standard that got me going for all the wrong reasons. The drama, which stars rapper Ice-T as a tale of black gang leaders joining forces to confront the injustice of the NYPD, interweaving stories of race, betrayal, and blue-collar cover-ups. Sounds familiar? That is, for some, but for now, black suffering has been the theme of Hollywood, and I've noticed that in the 7 years since the birth of Black Lives Matter movement, our trauma, especially at the hands of the police, have gone from the subject matter to an entire genre. So black trauma is a genre now, right? We used to have a lot of slave movies, but now black trauma and black drama is a new thing. Slavery has long been one of Hollywood's favorite periods of history, from Uncle Tom's Cabin in 1929 to 12 Years a Slave in 2013. The Birth of a Nation in 2015. You need to see that first Birth of a Nation. It came out in 1915. It was a Klan movie, and it had some people in blackface. It was real tripped out. They made us look real crazy in that movie, and the Klan came in at the end to save the day. If you haven't seen it, matter of fact, the movie is so old, it's no audio. You know how they be playing the piano and stuff, and you got to read the subtitles in between and all that. That's what Birth of a Nation is, and it was crazy. To the Birth of a Nation in 2016, directors have long narrated American history through the lens of African American enslavement. Yet since the police officer George Zimmerman's acquittal for shooting an unarmed teenager, Trayvon Martin, in Florida in 2012, have kickstarted Black Lives Matter, I've noticed Hollywood's fascination with slavery has shifted into police brutality and growing exponentially. In 2013, sorry, I went up. I'm trying to read it before we get into it. In 2013, and arguably the height of the BLM movement, director Ryan Coogler debuted his first film, Fruitvale Station. Anybody seen that movie, Fruitvale Station? A biographical drama based on the events leading up to the death of Oscar Grant, killed in 2009 by police officer Johannes Mercer. I messed that up. The film, which starred Michael B. Jordan, did extraordinary things for BLM, forwarding the fight against systematic racism and violence towards black people in America. That's one thing I want to talk about. Well, I want to talk about that systematic racism. It's a system. We know that it's a system. So a lot of times we try to say, we're going to take it to court. We're going to put up laws. We can do all these different things. But what does the Bible say? Y'all, man looks on the outward appearance, but y'all looks on the heart. So it's basically dealing with the heart. It don't matter how many laws you put up, you know what I mean, and legislation you put in place, but it deals with the heart. So we can't outlaw the heart, if I should say it like that. You know, so it's a system. That's what I say, systematic racism. Okay, so forwarding the fight against systematic racism and violence towards black people in America, Hollywood saw the success of the film, which took in $17.4 million at the box office. Such a hefty sum for drama. And it gave the green light to a whole host of others like it. Films which, following the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner at the hands of white police officers, were not short material. Following a few years, delivered a flock of films inspired by police brutality. Detroit, 2017, about police departments raid upon a group of African Americans in the 60s. LA 92, 2017, about the 1992 Los Angeles riots. The Hate U Give, 2018, in which the high school student witnesses a police shooting. And Monsters and Men, 2018, a story of police officer killing a black man, told through the eyes of a bystander who filmed it. Since 2013, in other words, it seems that the most fertile ground for black cinema has been trauma. And if the director wants an Oscar, they'll throw in a white savior for good measure. Wow. That's interesting. Yet the proliferation of black narratives feel excessive. Black people don't need 50 police brutality films a year to remind us of the injustice we face and continue to face. We've been knowing that. So basically, like, I think sometimes we might be glad that it's a black film or it's a famous black actor or actress in it. and then we watch it. But then you got to understand, guys, we live it all over again. We live that thing all over again once we watch these films. Now we know that these films are how can I say it? They're not true. They're actors and actresses. They go home at the end of the night, right? Right. They go Fruitvale Station, right? Fruitvale Station. We know that these actors and actresses go home at the end of the night, but it does something to your psyche. It does something to your emotions. It does something to you when you watch it. I'm telling you, when I watch some of these movies, I mean, some might be sorrow, some might be angry. I see people typing all kind of crazy stuff in the in the Facebook and the social media after watching it. So my thing is, what is the reason? I'm not saying that we shouldn't watch them, but I'm saying, what is the outcome? What is the outcome? What is the outcome that we're going to get when we get to the end of these movies? Especially if it's not, like my wife said, it don't have no resolve to it. Don try to get back in again. She can't get in there. If you log on with your computer, you might be able to log on. Last week we had problems with the audio, but we're going to get her in today. Okay, Enosh Ben Israel, shalom, shalom. Deborah Cotton, C21. Okay, let's see. Very deep. It was almost too much to watch. Oh, man. Now, you know what? I don't even watch a lot of horror films. You know, of course, when I was younger, I used to watch the Chucky, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. But a lot of the new stuff, I haven't really seen. I have no desire to see The Ring. Well, that's not kind of old. But, you know, all of the newer horror movies, when they come out, I don't even watch them. But this movie called The Lovecraft, as well as this movie called Them, man, it got not to be. I'm not trying to, you know, but it got all kind of stuff going on. So it stimulates. It messes with your sense. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. Put it like that, because it messes with your psyche on a whole nother level. Because your adrenaline goes, you know, when it's an action scene or it's a fight scene or it's a sad scene or it's a racial scene, your adrenaline goes all the way up, right? And so this happens a lot in this movie. But not only that, you got entities in the house. Not to tell the story, I'm not trying to, you know, but I'm like, so you got ghosts in your basement and police at your door, and I just don't understand it. I can't do it. What do you think? Leave a comment in here and let me know what you guys think about the movie. My brother Ash, Point Ash, shout out to Point Ash. He said it was a good movie. I was trying to find his post, but he liked the movie. He said it was an awesome movie. I can't do it, guys. You know, Lovecraft is more graphic. Definitely no kids shouldn't watch Lovecraft Country on HBO Max. Definitely, because they got some unnecessary news scenes in there. But then they got witchcraft books and everything else, man, and it gets real wild. But this one talks about, it was almost an all-white Compton. Let's look at the picture. Let's look at some of these boxes first. Okay, Get Out, Black Trauma. That was pretty good though, but it still was trauma. You feel what I'm saying? Us, right? Look how she looking. You know what I mean? That was the scene where she got out the car. And The Birth of a Nation. On the right is The Birth of a Nation, the original 1915 Birth of a Nation, and then this one is over here is the new Birth of a Nation movie. And Lovecraft. This is what I'm talking about. This one is like a science fiction / horror / black trauma / racism / man. Man, oh man, who trying to text me? Y'all know I got a live. Oh, I'm backstage. I'm sorry. She said she's backstage, but I don't know how to get backstage. Oh, wow. I'm backstage. I don't know how to. Oh. Wow, I don't know how to open up, Don. It's not letting you in. It's not letting you in. I'm about to re-invite you in a minute. That's wild. So this Lovecraft Country right here is, man, I ain't seen nothing like it. But then you're trying to get resolved, so they end on a certain note. You know how all movies, especially series, do. They end on a certain note to get you to come back. You know what I'm saying? They used to watch the General Hospital, All My Children, Days of Our Lives, back in the 80s and stuff. Shout out to my aunties and all of them used to watch that. And then they would leave on a certain note, you know what I mean, to get you to come back next week or the next day or whatever. So Lovecraft Country is a series too. I don't advise that. Especially kids under 16 shouldn't watch that. It's insane. All right, but look how they looking in there. They're just looking this one, them, you know, the ending was terrible. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending was terrible, man. And as the series went on, it was just like you understood why they did what they did, but on the flip side, it made them look crazy, like the angry black man and the crazy black woman, and you know, but they didn't show the scenes what happened to him that made him snap, you know. But I want to say that too. But after all of the trauma and drama that happened to us, this is what they expect us to do: just snap, run on the yard with. Well, I'm not gonna tell the story just in case y'all haven't seen it. But it's just different things that went on in there that was just like, well, man, if y'all wouldn't push the buttons and mess with them, they probably wouldn't have snapped like that, you know. But it was very, very interesting. All right, that's a character in there, the blackface character in there that was like an antagonist. You know, every time something happened to the father, he would come up and be like, yeah, what you gonna do? You see what they said, you see what they do, what you gonna do? It was LA 92, right? And the hate you give is a black author, Angie Thomas, but still, you know what I mean? So these things are just, black trauma is a multi-million-dollar business. Multi-million-dollar business. Don, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm gonna try to invite you now. I'm gonna send it to your messenger. I want you to put in the comment what you think. Okay. Okay, Harley, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that. Boom. Seeing, I just sent you another one. I don't know if it's going to do it right. All right. So imagine forcing Harriet Tubman to rewatch what she went through several times a year, supposedly for entertainment. So it's entertainment. You feel what I'm saying? It's entertainment. Oh, The Days of Our Lives, Miles. Brady's Cure. Yeah, right. Shalom, El Cambarlo. Shalom, Jessica Figures. Okay, what does it say? At least one jump scare in every episode, but there was a lot of symbolism in it, and it made it more interesting. Right? Absolutely, it did make it more interesting to watch. It said device not connected. Don, it said it's trying to put you in, but it said device not connected for whatever reason. Okay, add to the stream. Yeah. What's going on? Hello?
Not much. Yes.
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. What's going on? Shout out to my wife, Donna Brazil. Blessings to you. Shalom, shalom. Seeing me, Solele, all that good stuff. We were just talking about the black trauma film is a new genre making millions of dollars. What did you say about the movie Them when you seen it?
You know what? It was very very agitated because it just seemed like every possible scenario that could ever happen to Black people was happening, and it was no end goal. It was like no rhyme or reason. It was just trauma after trauma after trauma. It was never any reprieve. Like, they never got to correct the situation, and then it just kept getting worse. And so it was like, even with everything that happened, it's just no reprieve. There's no possible way they could emerge from this with any kind of happiness, no ending, no anything. It was just terrible.
Absolutely, I agree with you when it comes to that. You might have to mute your mic because I mute my mic, then you mute your mic when you're talking, when not talking. Absolutely, that's one of the reasons why I kept watching all 10 of them, because I'm looking for this. if not happy ending, at least a little, the little girl, she, she's traumatized, but she go off to be a successful lawyer. The older baby, something. But I'm like, man, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I just couldn't believe it. It did have a lot of symbolism in it though. But then when they would say, you know what, no more running, no more running. Again, I'm not trying to be a spoiler alert. Turn around and face the ghost and cuss at the ghost and shoot guns at the ghost. I'm like, man, they doing that to the ghost. But I guess that basically was like facing your fears, facing the things that easily beset you, the things that scare you. Okay, but somebody was saying something about it had a lot of symbolism. If you want to put what you thought about that, you can put it in the chat and I'll read it. Okay, I'm gonna read as well. Let me finish reading this. It feels exploitive. It's even begun to wonder how much directors genuinely want to investigate Black trauma, or how much they wish to profit from it, knowing that it is tried and tested path to be critical acclaim. So they might not be trying to get to the bottom. They might not be trying to empathize or sympathize with you. It might just be about that dollar, right? So there's no more Black lives. Okay, however, there's no such more to Black lives than their toxic entanglement with law enforcement. There is so much more. That's what it's saying. There is so much more to Black lives than their toxic entanglement with law enforcement. Tales of Black pain are a dime a dozen. Fewer movies between storylines like Black Panther, Sorry to Bother You, Little, that showcase Black people living happy, healthy lives. I challenge Hollywood to make more of those films that leave us laughing all the way to the bank, right? So we don't have to be the laughing stock or the butt of the joke or the one that's traumatized, the victim in every movie. You know what I mean? People can get real creative and make film that we can have a happy ending. We've seen happy ending film. We've seen the guy, he was, messed up, stressed out, but then he walks away right off into the sunset with his family intact and everything is intact at the end of the movie. So there's ways to do that. What do you think about that Lovecraft, though? What's the difference between them and Lovecraft to you? What is one of the main things that was different between that and Lovecraft Country? You gonna mute your mic?
The difference was actually, the difference to me was it was an actual storyline. Like it was coming up to something, like the tales of racism and like the tales of just different things that are happening in the symbolism that was through the movie. It still was telling the story. So those components were inside like the lives they were kind of living. Like the whole thing was to strip this power from the witch lady. It had a whole point to it. Like that was the whole point. Like her goal was she was trying to sacrifice Tuck to get this immortal life, and they were trying to stop her. So of course they just talked about their trauma while they were trying to do that. So that was the story. So but with them it was different. It was just trauma. It did not go anywhere. It was just like these are things that happen every day. It didn't go anywhere. It wasn't occurrences inside their regular life, but they was trying to get from point A to point B. It just was trauma after trauma. I was getting aggravated. Like, how much more can they just show Black trauma? Like, what is the end result? So I was getting frustrated. By the end, I was just frustrated. I was just like, it's no point. It's just like try to pull on the emotions, I think, of Black people. So it is kind of manipulative because it's like I'm gonna just pull on your emotions and hopefully this will be good enough to entertain you. But it's like no, that's not good enough. Just pulling on the trauma and like emotionally manipulating is not enough for us to be like, ooh, that was a good movie. That's so true what happened. It's like, because there was a lot of symbolism, like she's in the crazy house, how they talk, how black women, they don't listen to black women at the doctors, or just with the young lady who won, like the staple of what beauty was like. I get all of that, but it has to, some realization have to happen. Like that's, like this is not the standard, and this is what we're gonna do to break those ideas of what beauty is. But it was none of that. Like I said, it was no reprieve to after trauma after trauma.
Yeah, that's crazy because I think the oldest lady, the oldest girl, after a while, you look, you see how I think she might have been the only black person. It was a time of real heavy segregation. And Compton, they moved into Compton, but not the straight out of Compton. It was the white side of Compton. And they was basically, his thinking was like, he was an engineer. He was very intelligent, right? He went to college. He was an engineer. He had money. Because they trying to figure out the police, and they were like, how you get this crib? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm an engineer. You know what I'm saying? We're not all, working at the gas station and serving food. And then I'm wrong with serving food and working at the gas station if you're in here and you do that. I'm just saying, these service jobs that we usually have or thought to have, he was an engineer, well paid, had, and so they kind of like, what's going on? So even when she went to school, they would make fun of her, make monkey sounds. Again, I'm not trying to spoil alert, so I'm not going to tell it all. So she just came to a point where she was just like, that was just real sad with the white paint. Like, well, man, if I look like you, then my life would be different. Then I wouldn't have all of this trauma. You know what I mean? And if we see it even today, you can look at Sammy Sosa. He bleached his skin. Lil' Kim, she cut on her nose and bleached her skin. She looked like she looked totally different than Lil' Kim in the late 90s in her music. I was like, man, so if you're Mike, he bleached his skin. And so we have these different issues that we deal with, right? Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines trauma as disordered psychic or behavioral state resulting from severe mental or emotional stress or physical injury. So this can produce severe mental and emotional stress or physical injury. Now, I told you, we know that these are actors and actresses, right? So, but when we watch the movie, it's a jump scare, we jump. When somebody's getting chased down the hallway, our heart pump beats fast, right? Because our emotions can't tell the difference. You ever even tell a story and you relive the part that made you mad and you start getting mad all over again, or you start getting sad all over again, or you start laughing all over again, or, you know what I mean? So our emotions can't tell, what's going on. So when we live these traumas again, it does, sometimes it can do more harm than good. So I understand we want to tell our stories. I understand, it's a black person on screen. But we do got to have some resolve. So I think it's just about the almighty dollar. Now, African Americans have endured a massive amount of trauma over the course of American history. So it doesn't come as a surprise that the media institution rife with racism furthers the cycle by exploiting our suffering. Green Mile. Let's talk about the Green Mile, Stephen King novel. The movie focused on the false execution of a black man that forced the wardens and guards of the prison to question the morality of the system they took a part in. Green Mile was a pretty decent movie. A commitment to justice requires more than just merely presenting the issue. I'm going to say that again. Woo! A commitment to justice requires more than just merely presenting the issue, right? Putting it on film. A quiet, profitable issue at that. Black trauma is not to trend or a fad or something that shouldn't help line directors' pockets. The stories embedded in trauma have taken young lives and have left communities mourning in all of the hopes of gaining an equal spot in society's playground. So people are still mourning. People are still suffering. People are still dying, right? So it shouldn't be looked upon as entertainment, right? Because some people are still hurting when it comes to these different films, right? So if it's not you directly, you must say, "Oh, that's a shame." Go ahead. What you were going to say?
And what?
Say what now?
Yeah, and that is right. That's right what you're saying, because even as far as saying I'm going to make a film and I'm going to bring awareness and call attention to this problem, you feel like have a responsibility to showcase some kind of resolve. Like if it's like this is about awareness, well, let's raise the awareness. Let's figure out, because even at the end in everybody's storyline, they was all embarrassed in front of the world. Was all embarrassed. The baby girl was embarrassed. We were like, oh, she's crazy. She was yelling Pledge of Allegiance. The incident with the youngest daughter, the mom, pointing a gun at the neighbors. It was like in every situation, they would just look like crazy, like no understanding, like, hey, this is what trauma does, or trying to bring understanding to it. No resolve whatsoever. So yes, that is true. More, if we say we committed to social justice, or we committed to bringing shed the light on that, we have to be responsible how we do that. We if I mean, just even as if we doing content, or we doing movies, any type of media, because we're doing the same thing as putting out of what Black people are, without without the responsibility of that image that we putting out.
Yeah.
And then when you say, and then even, oh, go ahead. Oh, and then
Oh, go ahead.
even
Go ahead.
with the okay, and then like the last part you were saying, just with us being responsible with just the content, not just to be so sad as Black actors in the movie. Don't be satisfied with that. And then how even as a society, we have to get to the point where we are saying we're not gonna to let our dysfunction being capitalized on. Like we do that in almost every arena. We do that in music, with all these media outlets. We let people capitalize off our pain and trauma, and we are part of it. We actively involved in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we can't just be so hungry and thirsty just to be on stage or on record. You know what I mean? Because we have we asking for integrity, we asking for respect, but then when they look at our entertainment, sometimes like y'all disrespect each other, and y'all want me to come in and respect y'all. That's why they say stuff like, "Well, where's the outrage when this happened? It was a Black person did it to a Black person and stuff and things like that." So, but we do gotta respect and honor. I'm gonna be praying on that. We gotta respect and honor one another, man, for real. Because we're not gonna go nowhere with that, and it can't be just entertainment for us. You get what I'm saying? It has to be. It has to go to. It was a point I was going to make, but I have forgot what I was going to make. The overall objective of the film was to convey the struggles of Black Americans, especially against institutions that have profited and progress off Black trauma while keeping us inferior. And it's just start talking about. One would assume that the sheer number of movies surrounding Black trauma experienced daily would stimulate change, but change won't come through exploitation. So we got to understand that it's. Even the like the pimp movies and stuff like that. This is a now I remember what I was gonna say. We can't be the face of of everything that's crazy, different things like that. The one scene with and I hate one of the kids, you hang your sheets out, one of the kids pee on the sheets. You know what I mean? And so he got come around there. We have a stick, so she picked the stick up and chased him down the street. So now when everybody come out, look crazy, black woman who done moved into the neighborhood chasing Mrs. Whoever's son down the street, and it's just like it was just real crazy, man. And so we have to come away from that, and we have to be more than that. It's not a switch that we could turn on and off. You know what I mean? We have to basically intentionally do that. Say, no, man, we are Imago Dei. We are created in the image and likeness of Yahweh, right? We're not these other things that you're trying to make us out to be. And we got to own it. We could be doctors and lawyers and success stories and all that. We don't need no handout every time. You know what I mean? And so we can thrive and do these different things, but we have to start with our own community and be responsible and respectable towards one another. I really think that we have to do that. And then even with the whole heightening witchcraft, right? We're the face of that. Communism, we're the face of that. Putting on a dress, we're the face. It's, everything is the new black. That's dysfunctional. So they look at us dysfunctional, and we're more than that, right? We're not dysfunctional people just walking around here that need to be led. We are very savvy people, very intelligent people. Because if we didn't matter, trendsetters, we are the trendsetters. People look at our styles, people look at our trends, and if that community accepts it, the so-called African American community accept it, then we accept it. If it's cool to wear your shirt this way, cool to wear your hat that way, cool to wear these shoes, everybody start doing it. So you got to make up your mind. We great or we not. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we all great. That's why they go overtime to say you ain't nothing, you ain't nothing, you ain't nothing, you ain't nothing but a slave. All of the different schools, we teach slavery. It's like we teach slavery all 4 quarters. In social studies, you get these books and they just tell about how great, these other guys are and how much of a downtrodden, subservient slave you were. And yeah, enslavement did happen. We're not slaves. We were enslaved. That's different. See, the language and everything makes a difference in that. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, trauma will have you holding up a gas station. Trauma will have you breaking in. Trauma will have you do these things. I'm not making excuses for that, but we got to deal with those different issues, right? Deal with them and not just criminalize everything and lock them up and throw away the key. You know what I mean? Or shoot them and kill them. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be the thing. So, you got any last comments? What about that? What about that other movie? What about that? Let me see. It was another movie. Did you see LA 92? Don D? I think your stuff is muted. Did you see LA 92? I hear you in the other room, but it's not coming on here. So let's see. That's the
No.
Okay. You didn't see it? Did you see this Fruitvale station or whatever? This is a very intelligent actor. We always some kind of criminal or something. What you say? I missed it.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of breaking up.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, Elephant Man Podcast Network.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it? Grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's not hate.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't see that either. No.
Wow, that's a big delay.
I didn't see that either.
Wow, that's crazy. That's delay. That delay is real big. I'm just not getting it. But anyway, it's okay to talk about it. People say, "Oh, you being negative because you're bringing it up." You're just supposed to just love your enemy and turn the other cheek and look towards heaven and fly away. And they use a lot of those things to manipulate you. Yeah, we do gotta love. Love the unlovable. But if you step on my toe, I don't have to smile. I can say, "Hey, man, step on my shoes for that hurt." Oh, you're not being lovable. You know what I mean? And that's gaslighting. That's a whole nother different show. Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversation dealing with elephants in the room. We thank y'all for joining us. If you haven't seen, check out the Negro Bible, Missionaries and Colonizations, with special guests Second Exodus and Errol Spike. All right, mass manipulation and mandatory mandates. Check that one out. Tomorrow, we're gonna go over the Balaam and Balak story, of blessings and blockage. What can block our blessings, and the hedge of protection. I don't want to get into it right now, but we got some interesting things about that. And then Thursday, The Awakening, restoring healthy roots in the awakening, the restoration. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to try to get some people on the panel. I haven't sent out emails to my brothers and my sisters who can join me. And probably next week, we are going to have 500 subscribers party. Details coming soon. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. We will, we do this because it's enjoyable, and we thank y'all for joining us and tuning in. We're gonna have some special guests on there, and we're gonna do special shout outs the whole time. So thank you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, like, or share, go ahead and do that. Go to YouTube and type it in and subscribe it. Or Elephant Man Podcast on Facebook. Those are the two main ones. Twitter, I'll be on there sometime, but I don't know. I'm just not a Twitter dude. And IG is good, but they be having this stuff, flip in and out and click on this posters, and it'd be real interesting on there. But I try to do IG, but I'm a Facebook and YouTube person. All right, and so go ahead and subscribe, like, and share. Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversations dealing with elephants in the room. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Again, Balaam and Balak, blessings and blockage. I was studying this lesson, and I just got a whole other different revelation on some things when I was studying it. So, Mr. Spacely, shout out to Mr. Spacely. Shalom, Shalom, Doctor. Barlow. Shalom. Devorah Cotton C21. I don't like to mess nobody's names up. If I pronounce it wrong, Sister Lynn, blessings. Ruhama, you're always a blessing. All right. Jessica Figures, blessings, blessing, blessing. We thank all you guys for joining. And like, subscribe, share, let other people know about it. And we're gonna try to launch Legends of Purpose, but we already launched that. Imago Day, right? These are the different colors, right? I made an image of God, so we're gonna get that going. The long sleeves, we're gonna get some short sleeves and some hoodies, because we all made in the image and likeness of Yah. We're not just thugs and all these different things that they say we are. Okay, good conversation from user. Oh man, I don't like when Facebook it has no picture and it has no who it is. But thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. It's not to make us mad, but it's just about to get some insight on what we need to do and how we need to change it. And I guess, like I said, the Dolomite movies, the Goldie, the all of the different pimps movies and stuff, I guess we will see ourselves on the screen and get excited. And even though it's an exploiting film, we just be so excited that we're on the screen, and so we won't even look at it exploiting. That's why I say when the step and fetch it, and he was walking around all slow. You want me to get you some water, boss? We have to think about them things. Like, all right, it's black and white. It's a black and white TV era, and you don't hardly see us on there. So even if we are the maid, the butler, whoa, big eye, buck eyes, and all of that, I think that even our people back then might have said, "Oh, they go, a mother on she's a cook," or they go, the milkman, a black milkman, even though it might be like, "Oh," we just be happy to see ourselves representation. Oh, Frank from CLC, what's going on? Blessings, Frank, bless you. Oh, Shalom. Oh, 78 vet, always in the building. Shalom. Salama Sayemi, Yesolele. Yeah. Okay, so so I would think that we just see representation of ourselves, and we just get excited. You feel what I'm saying? And but just balance it out. We got some success story. You know what I mean? And then look at the one success story in the closing. We're gonna roll out. But the success story of what? The Cosby Show, the Huxtables, right? But now if you think about Huxtable, Bill Cosby, you think about what happened, prior to that. You don't think about him being a doctor, his wife being a lawyer, 2-parent household, raising their kids, supporting their family, dealing with, it was like the Black Brady Bunch, man. And so now we don't, even the Fat Albert in the gang told us lessons about all kind of stuff, man, So I just, we don't have a lot of healthy representation of us. We need more films. We need more music. We need more healthy representation of us and our community. And it's going to start with us telling it. The filmmakers, the writers, the producers, you write these stories. When you go into the booth, musicians, you tell these stories. You tell a positive story. Because if you don't do it, nobody else, they would exploit you and for $1. Right? Miss B, shalom, shalom, shalom. Yeah, right? So Elephant Man Podcast Network, hey, hit that subscribe button. And we're going to have us a party next week. All right, one.